First and foremost, I would like to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem and Kakodash. Give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. They're teaching the truth and sincerity across the four winds of the earth. And other argument that's teaching the same truth of Yahweh, Yahweh Shai. Right, the Shalom until the Lord's remnant, man, woman, and child, into the speckled bird scattered amongst the heathens that look like the heathen nations, like the Shalom. I'm trying to make this quick video. The Spirit came up on me today as I was at work. And we're going to start out with, go to the book of Acts in chapter 3. Oh, Salakia, as I may say, I don't own the rights to this music. I'm just listening to it to relax me as I give this lesson. I'm not gaining any monetary donations, so I had to clear that up. We're going to start with the book of Acts, chapter 3 and verse 19. And this is for the 12 tribes of Israel, which consist of the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Repent ye therefore and be converted, that your sins may be blotted out when the time of refreshing shall come from the presence of the Lord. Okay? So, this teaching is for the hopeful elect, not the whole house of Israel. It's the remnant. So before I get into this lesson, I'm not going to use my words. I'm going to use the words of Yahweh, Yahweh Shai, the God of the Israelites. Okay? So we're going to go to, before I get into this lesson, we're going to go to the book of Isaiah. It will be chapter 10 and verse 21. This is only for the remnant, not the whole house of Israel. As they say in the book of Hosea, though the children of Israel, roughly paraphrasing, will be the sand of the sea. You know, you can't even count the grains of sand that's on the shore of the sea. Okay? Isaiah chapter 10 and verse 21, Salakia. Isaiah chapter 10 and verse 21. The remnant shall return, even the remnant of Jacob, unto the mighty God. For though thy people, Israel, be as the sand of the sea, yet a remnant, just a remnant, that one third, and the 144,000 plus that remnant, the 1/3 is the remnant, shall return. The consumption decree shall overflow with righteousness. So I had to pull that. Okay. So now I'm going to get back into it. Okay. So the Spirit came upon me today and had me to do a sit down. Me and my brother Uriel, we're going to hit the streets tomorrow. So he had me to come to do a quick sit down. And I ran across one of the brothers' video from Great Millstone, Elder Malcolm, and he had some, he always have great videos. So, and this is what's happening. He had an article, and the military equipment is being rushed to Ukraine. Union Pacific and BNSF, they were called to move tanks and heavy artillery from Fort Campbell, Kentucky to the Gulf of Mexico for shipments to Europe. Okay? Putin said to Biden he has had enough. He's going to prepare for war. Okay? So once this war, which is the third world war, the economy will collapse. And this is going to be a major hit to Babylon the Great, United States of America. All right. So now we're going to get to the scriptures. We're going to back this up through scripture. Okay, we're going to go to the book of Revelation. We're going to start at chapter 7 and verse 1. And after these things I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth. And we're going to get into what these 4 winds really mean. See, the Christian church, these false prophets in these camps, they're not teaching major prophecies. We are in the last 2 prophecies, major prophecies. Okay, and we're going to get into what these 4 winds mean. This is for the newcomers also. Okay, the wind, okay, so let me start over. Revelation chapter 7, verse 1. And after these things I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding, the 4 winds of the earth. That the wind should not blow on the earth, nor the sea. Okay, so this is twofold. It could be talking about the earth, well, the wind, the sea, and the trees. So the sea and the trees could be represented as people, like Virgin of Babylon upon many waters, and men are being referred to as trees. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living God Yahweh. And he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels, to whom was given to hurt the earth and the sea. So we have 4. So Yahweh have 4 angels controlling the 4 winds, and we're going to get into what the 4 winds mean. And he cried with a loud voice, the 4 angels, to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea. Okay, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, which would be twofold. The earth, neither the sea, which could be people, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our God, the God of Israel, in their foreheads. Trees as men walking, so they could be parabolic, is talking about people. Okay, now, to whom it was given to hurt and the sea, saying, hurt not neither the sea nor the trees, till we have sealed. The seal is the key point. Have sealed the servant of our God, Yahweh, in their foreheads. So now we're going to go to the book of Ezekiel. We're going to go to the book of Ezekiel. What that seal mean? It's a seal. Okay, we're going to go to the book of Ezekiel. Okay. Ezekiel, the 9th chapter. We're going to start at verse 3. And we're going to read to verse 4. We're going to find out what the seal is. And if you read up for the newcomer, if you read up, it's talking about the angels. You just read up from the first verse on down. Okay. To the book of Ezekiel, chapter 9 and verse 3, we're going to get what this seal. And the glory of God of Israel, which is Yahweh, was gone up from the cherub, whereupon he was to the threshold of the house. And that house is talking about the house of Israel, his people, his chosen people. You can go to Luke 1:68. You can also in Matthew 1:21. I'm not going to pull it, but for the newcomers, read it. House of Israel. Okay. In verse 4. Okay, Slack. Let me start over. Okay. 3. And the glory of Yahweh of Israel was gone up from the cherub, whereupon he was to the threshold, through the threshold of the house. And he called the men clothed with linen, which had the writer's inkhorn in his hand. And these are the angels. But the main point is verse 4. And the Lord Yahweh is in all caps, said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem. Okay, now, Jerusalem is a people before it's a place. The 12 tribes of Israel, the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. Okay? We are a people before it's a place. And we're going back, the main point. And set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and cry for the abomination that be done in the midst thereof. Okay, so now, that's the point. That ties into Revelation 7 and 1. All right? So about that spiritual mark, Yahweh. So that spiritual mark is Yahweh. You have to know the name. Yahweh is the God of the Israelites. Yah meaning he. Howell, he is who exists. You must know the names. Yahweh Shai, Yah is he. Yahweh Shai, he delivers or he saves. Okay, so let me go back to Revelations 7, so you can get, for the newcomers, why it's important to have that mark. I'm going to go back to it and read it again for edification's sake. Revelation 7 and 1. And after these, I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth nor the sea. So we went through the sea and the trees, could be symbolic for people. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living God, power, Yahweh. And he cried that the seal is Yahweh. Links up with Ezekiel, the 3rd chapter, with a loud voice. To the 4 angels who had power to control the elements or control the armies that the Most High, the God, the Lord of Sabaoth, to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, Slakia, given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of Yahweh, the God of Israel, in their foreheads. And that seal is known his name. Now, as I read this article about the United States of America, United Snakes of America, this corporation being ran by the international bankers that's over in Europe, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, just to name a few, the DuPonts, the Oppenheimers, and the Gettys, and the, if I didn't say Vanderbilts, and so on and so on. So, okay, now we're going to go to, we're going to go to Revelation. You know what? Let's go to, let me see. Okay, that's what I want. That's what I want. That's what I want. And so it's important to know, you know what? Before I go any further, I must be allowed, let me see. I must be allowed to, because this is for our people, only the Israelites. I must be allowed to do this. It's mandatory through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bashem Yahushua. So it won't be no mistake made about it. Isaiah chapter 58 and verse 1. Cry aloud and spare not. Lift up thy voice like a trumpet and show my people their transgressions and the house of Jacob their sins. Who is the house of Jacob? The 12 tribes. Our forefather, Jacob, which would wrestle with the angel, named, Yahweh changed his name to Israel. He had 12 progenitors, okay? Which had 12 sons that created or that housed the 12 tribes of the house of Israel. So we crown aloud, spare not. So we was bid, the Most High sanctioned his men to cry aloud and spare not, to warn our people before the destruction hits. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to Revelation chapter 11. I'm going to start at, let me see. Okay, so as I read the article about the United States moving in military equipment to Europe, to get ready to battle, like you say, Vladimir Putin, he said he had enough of Joe Biden, and so he's about to wage war on Babylon the Great, aka America. All right. Okay. So Revelation chapter 11 and verse 14. The second war is past, and behold, the third war come quickly. So Salaki, second war had passed, and the third war has come quickly. In the United States of America, they're moving equipment into Europe, and like I just said through this article that I read from the brother Malcolm from the GMS in Chicago, Vladimir Putin said he didn't had enough of Joe Biden, and so they're about to start off this third war, the third World War. Okay, so now we're gonna go to the book. We're gonna go to the book of Joel. Joel chapter 2. I'm going to read it. Blow ye the trumpet in Zion. Okay, Zion is a memorial of the Israelites, the 12 tribes of the house of Israel. Okay, it's a monument. Okay, blowing the trumpet. Okay, Salakia. Let me go to another scripture to back this up. I'm going to read this again, then I'm going to come back to the book of Joel. Joel chapter 2. I'm going to start at verse 1. Blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and sound the alarm, the holy mountain. Okay? So we're going to go to, let's see. Where you at, Amos? We're going to go to the book of Amos. Amos 3 and 6. Shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people should not be afraid? Shall there be evil in the city, and the Lord have not done it? Shall a trumpet be blown in the city? So we blowing the trumpet. Okay? So now I'm going to go back to the book of, let me see. You know what? Let's go back to what I really wanted. Okay, this is what I really wanted. Let me go back to this. Joel, that's what I wanted. Blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and sound the alarm in my holy mountain. All right? So now, let me, Salakia, Israel, these glasses have been giving me a hard time, so I've been trying to fight through it. Okay, so let me start over again. Blow ye, okay, Joel chapter 2 and verse 1. Blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and sounding alarm in my holy mountain. The holy mountain is the 12 tribes. It's a memorial. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord come, for it is nigh at hand. A day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness. Okay, I'm going to pause there for a second. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to the book of Amos. I'm going to come back. I'm going to read it again. Joel chapter 2, I'm going to start at verse 2. A day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness. Okay, now we're going to go, I'm going to come back to this. So now I'm going to go to Amos 5 and 18. Because, you know, a lot of these Christians, they like to say they can't wait to see the Lord, but they have no idea what they're asking for because they don't know who the Lord is. They don't know him. Okay? Pursuant to, I don't want to go off, so I'm going to stay on point. We're going to go to the book of Amos, chapter 5, and verse 18. Woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord. To what end is it for you? The day of the Lord is in all caps. Yahweh is darkness and not light. As if a man did flee from a lion. So once you escape one calamity, okay, whether it be escaping the concentration camps, okay, and you escape that, and you escape famine. If a man did flee from a lion, you escape the lion, okay, you escape, let's say, the concentration camp, and a bear met him. Okay, now you run into a bear. Now you run into the UN troops. Or went into a house and leaned his hand on the wall, and a serpent bit him. Okay, so this is the day of the Lord Yahweh. Shall not that day of the Lord be darkness and not light? Even very dark and no brightness in it. So it's going to be no brightness in it. Okay? So for you Christians, they're saying that you can't wait to see the Lord. So now I'm going to go back to the book of Joel. Okay, I'm going to start at verse 2 again. A day of the Lord and of gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness, and the morning spread upon the mountains. A great people and a strong. Salaki. There had not been ever, Salaki. There had not been ever like. Neither shall they be any more in the years of many generations. Okay? So what he's talking about, see, the Lord of Sabaoth, he have many armies. Okay? And this is one of his armies, and we're going to get into it. A fire devoured before them, and behind them a flame burneth. What are they talking about? A fire devoured before them, right in front of your face, United States of America, this corporation. This is what he's talking about. And behind them, a flame burneth. So there's no escape. You have a fire in the front and a flame behind you. There's no escape. The land is as the Garden of Eden before them. And this is the great melting pot where all the heathen nations want to flock to the United States of America to take a part of being part of that American dream. All right? It's what it's talking about. Let me see. Okay. And the land is as a Garden of Eden before them. So all the nations, they flock to the United States of America. Virgin order Babylon. Okay. And behind them, a desolate wilderness. Yea, why is it going to be desolate? Because the ICBM, intercontinental ballistic missiles, are about to head this way. I just read the article, okay, about Vladimir Putin say he had enough of Joe Biden. So the third woe is about to be stirred up. We got only major two prophecies left. The third woe in the Quran. I'm going to speak on the Quran briefly after I finish this chapter here, or this verse. We're the book of Joel, okay? Before them and behind them was desolate wilderness. It's going to be desolate because of the ICBM, long-range intercontinental ballistic missiles. And nothing shall escape them. The appearances of them is the appearance of horses. Okay, so it's speaking in parabolic talk. It's speaking as if it's men in a military. So it's parabolic. And as horsemen, so shall they run. So it being it's speaking in parabolic talk, like they used to fight in the old ancient world with horses and spears and javelins and swords and shield and bucklers. Okay, but it's speaking parabolic. Like the noise of chariots on top of the mountains, shall they leap. They leap like the noise of the flame of fire that devoured the stubble as the strong people set in battle of array. Okay? Before their face, the people shall be much pain. All faces shall gather blackness. They shall run like mighty men. What shall run like mighty men? They shall climb the walls like men of war. What are they talking about? They shall climb the wall like men of war. I just told you. It's parabolic talk. It's talking about the ICBM missiles. Like it's saying Amos 3:7. Though the Most High Yahweh, roughly paraphrasing, he only shared his secret with his servants, the prophets. So he's talking parabolic talk. They shall run like mighty men. They shall climb the wall like men of war. And they shall march every one on his way. And they shall not break their ranks. And why are not they going to break their ranks? Because it's speaking parabolic, just like it's talking about men, all right? But he's talking about these missiles. They're not going to break their rank. They're not going to break their rank. And let me jump. I'm going to come back to this. I'm going to come back to verse 8. So we're going to get more clarification of where I'm going. We're going to go to, I'll come back. Let me see. Okay. Okay. I'll come back to that. So what I do now is to get more clarification. I'm going to go to, I want to say Isaiah. Let me see, Isaiah 54 and 16. And so here's what's happening. Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire. And the smith is the modern day scientist that Yahweh created just for this purpose. Yahweh Shah, he created the smith, which is the modern day scientist, to go into their labs and to split the atoms, okay? And to create a way to destroy all these heathens that devoured Israel, the 12 tribes of Israel that consist of the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. He put the spirit upon these modern day smiths to create a waste. Okay, let me finish reading it first. Behold, I have created a smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth the instrument for his work. And what is his work? To destroy, for all the heathens, to destroy one another through these ICBM, intercontinental ballistic long-range missiles. I have created the waster to destroy. Okay, so Yahweh, while Yahweh's spirit is upon those formulas that he put in the heads of the scientists, the modern day scientists, which will be the modern day Smiths, to destroy one another for coming against his people Israel. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to Joel. Okay, I'm going back to Joel. Joel 2 and verse 8. That's what it's talking about. It's talking about missiles. Neither shall one thrust another. The reason they can't thrust one another, because it's not talking about people, it's talking about men. Behold, I have created a smith. Isaiah 54:16. They shall walk everyone in his path. Keep in mind, speaking in parabolic. When they shall fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded. Why shouldn't they be wounded? Because it's not talking about people. It's talking about the ICBM, intercontinental ballistic missiles, that would leave the thought, well, basically, they leave the silos in their delivery system. And the delivery system go up into the heavens, which would be the outer atmosphere, if I'm saying that right. And so the delivery system, it falls off, and in the tip of that cone is multiple nuclear warheads. Okay? Okay, and it said, neither shall one thrust another. They shall walk everyone in his path. And when they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded, because it's talking about the Lord of Sabaoth army, which is one of his armies, is these ICBM, intercontinental ballistic missiles. They shall run to and fro in the city. They shall run upon the walls. Keep in mind, it's not talking about humans. This is talking about intercontinental ballistic missiles. They shall climb up on the houses. They shall enter into the windows like a thief. How far I want to go with this? Okay. Like a thief in verse 10. The earth shall quake before them. Why is it going to quake? Because it's going to hit this place. They're going to reel to and fro like a drunkard. Let me highlight this so I can see. The earth shall quake before them. It's going to move like a major earthquake. And the heavens shall tremble. The heaven is the modern day Edomites rulership. They're going to be shaking in their boots. They ain't going to know what to do. They're going to go try to hide in their dens, in their bunkers, in their space stations, in their underground sea where they have their luxury yachts that can turn into submarines. They're going to, so they're going to try to hide. Okay, so they're going to be tremble. So the heavens shall tremble, which will be a rulership of the Edomites. Like it say in Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. So they in rulership now, okay? So they're going to tremble when they actually see what's about to happen to them. That the Most High Yahweh is going to come back and recompense them for what they've done to the 12 tribes of Israel, all right? So the sun and the moon shall be dark. Why would the sun and the moon be dark? Because they're going to be so much soot and radiation that is going to cover the whole skies, okay? Everything is going to be black and dark, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. And it's twofold. The stars, actually, it's just the actual stars because of the soot and the smoke and the radiation, and the elite, the wise men of this kingdom, they're going to withdraw from their shining because they're not going to have no more. They won't be able to use their enchantments. So I just put it like that. And the Lord shall utter his voice before his army. And his army, one of his armies, he is the God, the Yahweh of Sabaoth, Lord of armies. And the Lord shall utter his voice before his army, for his camp is very great. And one of his camps is the ICBM, intercontinental ballistic missiles. Isaiah 54:16. For he is strong that executed his word. For the day of the Lord is great and very terrible. Who can abide it? Okay. So who shall be able to stand? All right. So let me do this right quick. And this is for these so-called Christians. I'm going to pull this because, and not just the Christians, we'll say the Buddhists, our people. When I say our people, the 2/3 of our people that cling on to the heathen nations. You go to the book of Exodus, I want to say Exodus, the 20th chapter. I want to say up around the first verse, I believe, if you read on down, how thou shalt have no other gods. You'll just pull it and read it. Okay? So so when the men of the Lord preach this word, Slakia, and give them warning and give our people warning what's about to happen. And I know they probably think in their mind, well, y'all going to be here too. So what make the Hebrew Israelites so special? How are you going to escape? It's the escape route for us. So I'm going to read it right quick, and I'm going to get back into it. Let me see. Let me put my mark down. Yeah, I'm done with that. I'm done with that. So I'll come back to this. So this is how we're going to escape it. It's important by knowing the names. And we go by the scriptures. We go by the Bible. The best of our ability. This is how we're going to escape it. So we're going to start with Revelation 18. I'm going to start at verse 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sin, and that you receive none of her plagues. And the plagues are going to be the ICBM, intercontinental ballistic missiles. They're going to come back and devour these plagues, 200 million of them. They're going to devour all 50 states of the United States of America. So I'm going to read it again for edification's sake. Then I'm going to jump to I'm going to go to the book of Revelation, 11th chapter, and down to verse 12. I'm going to read it again for edification's sake. Revelation. This is how we're going to escape the true worshipers of Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai. John 4:22. Ye worship ye don't know what. You read on down. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sin, and that ye receive none of her plagues. So the third woe is going to bring some major plagues, all right? And the major plague is going to be the ICBM, intercontinental ballistic missiles. I want to speak on the chariots, but I want to make the lesson too long. So I'm going to come back and do a follow-up on it. So now, here's how the true worshipers, the Hebrew Israelites, the 1/3, the house of David, start with the 144 and the 1/3, okay? Man, woman, and child, in multitude. This is how we're going to escape. So now I'm going to go to the book of Revelation. And y'all normally laugh at us, see. They're not teaching y'all this, but when y'all see this happen, it's going to happen. Y'all going to see it. It's going to happen. When y'all hear talk about the so-called UFO, the IFOs, we understand that they are the chariots of the Most High Yahweh, or Yahweh Shai, with Michael the Archangel, and Gabriel, Raphael, and all the other innumerable angels ride around in. So this is how we're going to flee this destruction of the ICBMs. Revelation chapter 11, verse 12. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither. That means being beamed up in the chariots and the IFOs, being beamed up. And they ascended up into heaven in a cloud, and the enemies beheld them. Okay? In the same hour, as we being beamed up, in that same hour, there was a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell. That great earthquake is talking about those ICBMs that make the whole earth reel to and fro like a drunkard. And the earthquake was slain men 7,000, and the remnant were frightened and gave glory to the God of heaven, Yahweh. Okay, so that's how we're going to get beamed. We're going to get delivered. The hopefully elect. Hopefully, I'm one of them. All right. So now I'm going to go back to. We're going to go back to Zechariah. Go to Zechariah. Let's see. Zechariah. (14 and 12). Okay, so this is part of the plague. And this shall be the plague wherein the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Okay, all these heathen nations, start with, I want to say, Psalms 83, the crafty counsel, and the wicked Israelites of our people. They fought it, and they still fighting against us today. We out there on the highways and the byways, the men of the Lord preaching the real doctrine, the true doctrine, the pure water, and the pure honey, and the pure wine. Y'all want to fight against us, calling us hate groups, but we trying to preach the truth. But pretty soon, y'all going to be looking for us. It's going to be too late. But this is going to be the plague that will fight Salaki. Zechariah 14 and 12. And this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord Yahweh, is in all caps, will smite all the people that fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet. These are the ICBMs. Isaiah 54 and 16. Behold, Yahweh have created the waster. Go back and read it. And their eyes shall consume away in their holes. And this is going to be so hot, it's going to melt everything. It's going to melt the steel, because everything is made from the elements. Everything on the earth is created from the elements. So the Most High, he put the spirit upon the modern day scientist, the Smith, Isaiah 54 and 16, to create the great waster to destroy. It's going to dissolve. We're going to melt everything. Okay, but we, the hopefully elect, as this is happening, we're going to be getting beamed up at the same time. The nuclear missiles are flying. Then you're going to see the chariots come in, shooting laser beams and concentrated heat. All this is going to be happening at once. You have concentration camps. You're going to have martial law. Everything, a sedition among men. All this is going to be happening simultaneously. And the hopefully elect going to be getting beamed up. Okay. Salakia. Let me start over. And their flesh shall consume away while they stand up on their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. And it shall come to pass in that day. Okay, it's like, let me stop there. Okay, so I'm gonna read the last one. I'm gonna close it out. I'm going to the book of Jeremiah. Book of Jeremiah 51. I'm going to read to verse 8. Thus said the Lord, behold, I will raise up against Babylon, against them that dwell in the midst of them, that rise up against me, a destroying wind. A destroying wind. They're talking about the ICBM, intercontinental ballistic missiles. Okay, go back to Revelation, I want to say 7 and 1. That's the destroying wind when the four angels held back those four winds. And I will send unto Babylon phantoms, United Snakes of America, this corporation, being ran by the international bankers, starting with the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Oppenheimers, and the DuPonts, and the Gettys, and so on and so on, all those red Idumeans, the Edomites, the so-called white men, that shall fan her and shall empty her land, for the day of trouble they shall be against you round about. Who shall be against you round about? All the heathen nations that the Most High is going to summons into the valley of Jehoshaphat, Yahweh Shaphat, Yahweh judgment. They're going to be surrounded about. They're going to be round about United States of America. And against him that bendeth the bow, that bendeth, let the archer bend his bow and his parabolic. It's not talking about an arrow, like a bow and arrow. It's talking about the ICBMs, the long-range missiles, the hydrogen missiles coming out of those silos. And against him that lifted himself up in his brigandine. Okay? So United States of America, they're not going to have any defense. Okay? And that brigandine, you go into brigandine, it's like an armor, like a protection. And these missiles that Russia have, they can't even be detected. And they could reach from Russia within 20 to 30 minutes. And so Babylon the Great, there is not going to have no protection. United States of America, this corporation. And spare ye not her young men, destroy ye utterly all her hosts. The slain shall fall in the land of the Chaldeans. And this would be the modern day wise men of the Edomites, the Edom, the Idumeans, starting with the Germans. And they that are thrust through in the streets, for Israel had not been forsaken. So Yahweh, he's not forsaken the remnant. You know, although the 1/3 will be brought back through the elect, the 1/3 in the house of David, and the 144, nor Judah of his God. So that Yahweh, he had forsaken us. Lord willing, I am one of those men of the Lord of hosts. Though their land would fill with sin against the Holy One of Israel. I'll stop there. Okay. So hopefully there was an edifying lesson. Hopefully. I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Krakadosh. Until next time, until the next one, Shalom.